we have Isaac Barnes. He is the co-founder and CTO of a company called Eminent, E-M-I-N-E-N-T. Tell me about your background first, Isaac, and how you wound up in the Marine Corps and started your own company. This is a great story.
So for me, my story started shortly before 9/11. In 2001, I was fresh out of high school, into college, and I was looking for a way to become a computer programmer. That was my primary concern at that time. So I decided to try the military out. I figured it would be a good way for me to get into the field. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I became a actual poolee, which is before you become a Marine, you're going through the process of learning how to be a Marine. And the day I was leaving for the Marine Corps was actually on September 11th, 2001. And I was literally signing my name on the contract, and the towers fell. As I was watching that, I was completely terrified, and I didn't know if that was the decision that I wanted to make. I knew that I wanted to be a Marine, and I also knew that I wanted to pursue this career in IT. And so I ended up deciding to do it anyway. And then that led me into the Marine Corps, and that led me into my field that I'm in now.
Welcome to Federal Tech Talk with John Gilroy here on Federal News Radio 1500 AM. In the studio, we have Isaac Barnes. He is the CTO and co-founder of a company called Eminent, not very radio-friendly. It's EMINENT, and you can find that at emin-it.com. So Isaac, I went to your LinkedIn profile, and you talk about how to modernize legacy systems. And so let's say someone's listening to this and they're in an agency, maybe NIH, I don't know, pick an agency, could be anyone out there, and they have a challenge of moving from one system to the next. If they called you, I mean, what guidance would you give them in the first 30 seconds, or what would you have them start? Where's the first step after they contact you or in contacting you?
For me to implement it for them?
Yeah. What'd you say? Where do you start? Do you come out there? I mean, do you use a survey, or are there some agencies you not want to work with, or some you do want to work with?
So primarily our focus is on identifying a customer set that we feel we can provide value to. We don't just take any customer. That's not our goal. Our goal is to look for opportunities to, like I said, provide value. And what that means is if there's a platform, a system, or architecture that is archaic and that is causing friction for the organization, we identify ways where that whole process can be improved. And the way we do that is by taking existing platforms and then also our platform, which is Revamp, our software solution that we've created. And we're able to come in and help them rapidly improve on that process. The way we like to work with customers initially is we come in and we help them analyze their entire process from start to finish. That end-to-end approach allows you to identify where things are falling apart or broken within the system. And instead of just taking the approach of just improving something for the sake of improving it, we like to improve it and actually improve the quality of life for all the people that are involved in the organization.
Before the break, I had this funny word that I stumbled on called DevOps. So Isaac, you know, people in the Pentagon, people at HHS everywhere, they have these big projects and they make transition, and someone waltzes in and says DevOps, and I think half the people in the room don't know what it means. So tell us, what the heck is DevOps?
I'm not the definitive expert on DevOps.
Well, then you have to walk out of here, buddy. I thought you were.
But what I will say is DevOps is a trend that is being adopted in industry, and government is slowly adopting it. And the reason why they're slowly adopting it is because it's the marriage between the development teams and the operations teams. And what that provides you is a level of speed and efficiency that you didn't necessarily have in the past. I actually believe that there's more of a holistic approach that DevOps is a part of, but DevOps is extremely important moving forward, just for us to migrate to some of the new architectures and new platforms that are going to be necessary to provide the level of service that's needed. So in a nutshell, I believe DevOps is simply two different groups coming together and then implementing solutions that allow the organization to be more efficient, and being able to do that in an iterative fashion that allows them to take incremental approaches where you're looking at one customer's need and you're solving a part of it, and then you're working on the next issue and then deploying it and working on the next issue and then deploying it. And it's something that industry's been doing for a very long time, and it's a part of a broader trend of government organizations trying to adopt what Silicon Valley is pushing out.
Good. Now, Roop, when I first met Isaac, you know what he does? He goes in the Pentagon, and there's a general who's happy with the program. He waltzes in and goes, "Guess what, General? We're going to move you away to something new." This is not a real pleasant job to have. There's too many headaches there. So what do you think of moving legacy applications in a structured military environment? That's not a job for me. How about you?
Yeah, not a job I enjoyed. It's why I left consulting behind. It's also why I left the federal marketplace a long time ago.
It's a tough job you have, Isaac. So my question to you is, why are you successful? I mean, you're coming up against some big companies that got big buildings with names on them and stuff. So why you?
Because we do what most startups and entrepreneurs do. We identify pain points and problems, and we create solutions and implement solutions to solve those problems. There's no organization in the federal space that has it all figured out, right? And there's no large business that has it all figured out. And what we're able to do is not necessarily try to undercut them or take them out of the picture. We're working with them to basically provide a new perspective and alternative approaches to solving some of the problems that they're facing.
So Isaac, I'm going to put a new hat on. You take off your baseball hat and put on your academic hat. And let's say we go 2 miles down the road and we're sitting over at Healy Hall at Georgetown, and we have a couple provosts there and some deans, and we go, "Okay, Isaac, what kind of classes should we put together for you? You know, you hire people all the time, you interview them, you ask what kind of skill set they have. What kind of skill set do you want your prospective hires to have? What do you look for in people? Are there degrees? Is it PMI certification? Is it technical knowledge? So what kind of employees do you look for? What kind of what kind of class would you design in order to hire the perfect hire?"
I think the biggest thing is, for me, just in general, the technical skills will come if you have the work ethic and the desire to learn it. But the biggest thing is people skills. And I always go back to this. I think throughout my career, the fact that I am a people person and I like people and I'm actually invested in helping them, I think that has been one of the most beneficial things for me in my career. I can build a program, I can build software, I can implement a networking environment, but if I don't understand the actual users and I don't understand their needs and their pain points, I did all that for nothing. And I think the biggest things that we can teach the next generation of people that are coming into this space, and what I look for when I hire, is that level of understanding of people and understanding the importance of it. And I know that's something that you focused on, John, and I think it needs to be a broader subject that needs to be involved.
It's a subtle skill because there's not a checkbox for it. You don't get a certificate. I'm not a jerk face. I mean, there's no. I have a master's degree in getting along with people. Right. It's more of an art, and it's difficult to evaluate. And I don't know how recruiters do it. And they present with 5 people, and you meet with 5 people, and how can you tell work ethic?
So for me, one of the things that we've implemented in our company is we've implemented the process of testing. We don't just interview people and tomorrow you have a job. We actually have you complete a simple test. And it's something that, one, we can see if you're dedicated to it, because at that point you're not getting paid. We haven't offered you an actual position. You're not actually working for us. But if you can actually put in the hours and the time to execute this task that we give you, and it's going to be something that is going to be based around what you said you can do on your resume. It's not going to be putting you in a place where you're going to be overly challenged and not able to accomplish it. But what that test proves to us is that you're serious about, one, working with us, and you're serious about your craft.
What you put in your resume. Now Roop, he has a background in biomedical engineering. And so he puts that in his resume, and that guy's got to be smart. That's a kind of a check mark there. But can he get along with people? That's the question you'd have to ask.
Exactly.
You know, this guy's plenty smart, but can he get along with people? And that's a tough skill to find out. So Isaac, when it comes to moving larger systems away from products that well, I'll say the word, IBM. I think there's some products that are just not going to get off mainframes, and there's some products that are. So are there guidelines for what cards to hold and what cards to play? I mean, you're playing a card game here. How do you know which ones to hold and when to hold them, when to fold them? I mean, when do you move to the cloud?
That's a great question. I think that the best approach is to take an incremental approach. And if you are working with an archaic system that's very large and robust, moving that is going to take a lot of effort and a lot of energy, where if you focused on smaller initiatives and execute there, then you're at least establishing a footprint and getting your organization used to living in the cloud. And I think that's the direction, the proper direction that organizations and agencies need to take.
And before we end here, what is your website? Where can people get more information about you and your company?
Our website is www.emin-it.com.